that's Laura. Yeah, I'm gonna stand right here so I can use this as a cheat sheet. Hey, I forgot. Cheat sheet? I'm picking my teeth. Alright, everyone. Back down your attention, please. I'm Melissa Southard. I run the gallery here, the student gallery for WIU Art Department. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Laura Warner and her Metamorphosis installation. Welcome to the inside of my brain. So, I've been asked several questions this week about why or how, and so I guess I'll answer a few of them. Basically, this is me sharing my creative process as it basically relates to the life cycle of a butterfly, because I always have multiple stages of multiple projects going on all the time. And so stage one would be like the eggs. So this is the double helix, kind of like creativity and ideas are always they're in my DNA. It's I can't help it. So it starts with a silhouette of me, the backlit foam core. And this is kind of a throwback to the beginning of school, because when I was in elementary school 100 years ago, that we did silhouettes where someone would trace your shadow for you, and you cut it out of construction paper, and so there you go. Design style with foam core. So the ideas are falling out of my head and going around the room, and the eggs hatch, so they become caterpillars, and for me, that stage is a very voracious stage. It kind of makes me think of the Very Hungry Caterpillar, if you're familiar with Eric Carle Ward books for children. So this is the research stage, the practice till you get it right stage, or just learning, absorbing everything you can on that topic. So the many caterpillars, and of course there's a fun child theme to learning for me usually. So I wanted to keep it light and fun. So, and then after all the voracious and the repetition, there's always a period of rest, and that's what the cocoons represent, is the rest. And after all the color, the palette changed because the eyes need to rest. So that's that. And then after a certain time, and the time length varies, as you all creatives know that you go on before it blooms into the grows into the butterfly stage. Each project takes a different rest period, but at some point you have to set it down. So setting it down, and then voila, here it is. Here's the aha moment. This is the beautiful project as it comes out at the end. So that's basically the gist of here. This is intentionally not drawing, not painting, not 2D, because I feel those are more of my strengths than my three-dimensional work is. I needed to learn more, and unfortunately my schedule as an art major is packed with academic classes, and I've only had one studio, and that was digital photography so far. So this is all self-learning. This is me stepping out of my comfort zone, working on my three-dimensional skills, learning and working with new medium. So like the Christmas ornaments was an APB on Facebook. I'm like, hey, does anybody, it's July, I came back from Italy, I want to do an installation. Who has round, colorful orbs that you just want to give away? You know, give me your Christmas ornaments you don't want. So as an art educator, as an artist, you don't want to spend a lot of money on supplies. You just want to make beautiful things without having to spend an arm or leg. So I'm trying to use recycled items for cost, but also because we waste a lot, and also because people want to share their recyclables, they don't know who to give their ornaments to. So you just ask, and Facebook supplies. And I have a friend who's a bartender, so I received a multitude. I have 4 garbage bags of recyclable plastic caps. So I worked with, what can I make these? I was gonna make a mosaic, but then that would be more 2D, and came up with little caterpillars for my whole thing. So, yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. Welcome to my brain. If anybody is in a spot where they're stuck, you're welcome to take an idea with you. The little bowl of eggs here is very squishy and fun to play with. And then that's the touchable. There's a touch table outside I created for the kids coming through tonight so that they can touch things without touching art in the museum. So it's a kid-friendly table out there that adults can play with too. But these are water beads, and water is life. So it is kind of a source of everything. So that's kind of why this is in here too. And it feeds the ideas, it feeds the caterpillars. And they will dry up and recede and go. They're originally the size of the head of a pin, and you add water and they grow to this. Oh. So if you don't nurture your creativity, you shrink. That's it. Woo! Woo!
You know, I gotta say, I think you did a fantastic job of doing art. So congratulations.
Thank you, Rachel. Has some eggs. Yes.
So, if you were to continue working, would you focus on one of these more than another, or do you think it's so cohesive that it has to exist as one? Or are they like sub? Because I would love to see your room like filled with just butterflies. You know, or all the butterflies you filled with all the, I love it, the, what is that, wool?
This is actually acrylic. I fell in love with it when I was shopping and I couldn't stop touching it. It's really soft. It doesn't have like wool though. The wool is actually the caterpillar heads. That's dry felting. But that's acrylic. It's soft. But the original plan was actually to do the whole room of hanging butterfly exhibit so that I could teach second graders about installation art. And then community art didn't really happen this semester, so then I decided that I wanted to do it anyway so I could experience having an installation.
Yeah.
So after going to the Biennale, I saw a lot of installation work and I wanted to try it. But I think this works together as a unit. Some of these pieces wouldn't be standalone, like I wouldn't, except for maybe with children, I wouldn't just put caterpillars out. So,
Okay. Gotcha.
yes.
How many times did this exhibit change in your caterpillar stage? Would you like to share that?
I don't know that I have a number big enough for how many times this has changed actually.
Did you set it up every time?
This is a first setup, but the planning of it was, well, let's do this. Well, that didn't work. Okay, let's try that. Well, and I didn't know how I was going to install the butterflies because I can't use the ceiling, I can't use the air ducts, and I can't use the light fixtures. So I had to create a false ceiling, and that was probably the hardest, was creating a false ceiling. Because I didn't know what I could get away with, how heavy I could hang on the display boards, and so yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yes. I already knew the answer, but I wasn't.
The garage is finally a garage again.
How many butterflies are there?
I have no idea.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Count them, sitting here, count them.
You are welcome to lay under them. Like Kosha will tell you, it's fun. It's relaxing.
I laid here for an hour.
It's very fun.
Orbeez the other day.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
So, congratulations is really fun. It's really attractive. I think kids would love it. Our kids love it. And I love the idea, the genesis of the idea, which was to help, get kids to make installation art. And you've already sort of said that there are parts of this that kids could do, but do you see, is there anything here that you wouldn't, you don't see as transferring over to for kids to be able to do?
Actually, when I was doing this process, this was also about, I think kids could do every stage of this at some level, because as an art educator, these are things that I learned in elementary school. I didn't learn how to do the whole thing, but the string art stems from junior high, middle school age, where we took the XY axis and we would draw and make pop art. And they can certainly take wire sculpture and thread. That's basic sewing, is threading a item on a wire. And they can do direct felting if you get to the point where you can trust them with a sharp object, because the hook needle is really sharp. And you do stab your finger. The weaving, who hasn't done macrame at some point growing up? That's some macrame, and then I wove on the macrame, and then I tried natural fibers to, I mean, those are grasses, that is actually the grass from the ditch, and that's cattails from reeds from the ditch. And there's basic, I've never woven in the ground before, and it took me probably 2 months to figure out that what I was trying to do was weave a basket. But I was teaching myself, so, because I wanted 3D, not 2D, but the weaving is something I can teach in my classroom. So. You guys have a question?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you say installation art?
Yes.
What is that?
That,
Definition.
that is, instead of hanging your work on the walls, like I didn't just bring some pictures up to hang on the wall to have a part of a show. I turned the room into one piece of art. This is a comprehensive thing that I did all of it. And it's like the butterflies are part of the room. I installed the art into the room.
I didn't.
Cole, you're getting a look.
I didn't get it either.
You're getting a look.
He's got his
I'm glad she asked me, because I knew.
That's my definition of installation, but that's my interpretation after going to Italy and seeing so many in one exhibit. At the Biennale art show. So there was a lot of installations. Even in a warehouse, they would make rooms to install art. It wasn't just pictures on a wall. Any other questions? I've got snacks if you guys want snacks. These aren't snacks. They're not toxic, but they're not snacks.
And don't forget, first Wednesday, you're getting downstairs at 7.
Yep, it's not bedtime.